What's up, guys? We are the Lore Brothers. My name is Ian.
My name is Connor, and as you guys probably could have guessed, we are Blood Brothers.
We are going to be investigating the lore and bringing you some facts, or at least opinions, of what these entities are on whatever we are investigating. Now keep in mind, this is our first video. It may be kind of rough and tough and all that, but we did our best researching Wraith. We found it to be pretty difficult, but we will do our best to kind of describe what a Wraith is and what you can expect if you're dealing with the Wraith, and how to defend yourself if you're able to.
Yeah, and if you do happen to find one, well, you'll find out why. We wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, Wraiths are not, I mean, quick summary, they're bad. Yeah. They're gonna be bad.
Bad time.
But let's get into the explanation of a Wraith. And if you decide to investigate, just know that you are going to be digging through a lot of video games, movies, TV shows before you even get to the surface of original lore and true mythology of a Wraith.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, I mean, from what we found, though, when we were scraping through the internet, searching for Wraith facts, Wraith lore, and all that good stuff, is Wraiths are essentially a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of ambiguous, I guess. I mean, the word itself, Wraith, is the Scottish term for ghost.
Exactly. So that's the interesting thing, and in explaining what a Wraith is, it's important for you to understand that the word Wraith literally means ghost in Scottish. If you look it up in the dictionary, it's synonymous to the word ghost. So it's going to be difficult to identify
an individual ghost.
Exactly.
I mean, this entity itself, being very powerful as it is, very dangerous, it's in the ghost family. And so what we had to do is kind of find the ghost individually and study that one as best we could. But from some of the lore that we were reading, basically a Wraith, one possibility at least, is that it's a sorcerer or sorceress who tried to use good or bad magic to try to extend their life or save them. And then the magic failed, and the impression of their souls became Wraiths.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's not necessarily their soul, like you just said. It's the impression of their soul.
Of that individual.
Yeah. So
and every time, always, they become evil.
Yeah, it's a very negative entity.
Yes.
And these sorcerers or sorceresses who, their soul's impressions that have become these wraiths, they aren't positive. It's a negative entity.
It's a very, very bad one. Malevolent, certainly, and there's some other lore saying that basically the Wraith is, if you were to look at it as a hierarchy, they're just under the Grim Reaper. They work for the Grim Reaper, and their job is to go out to suck the souls out of people, basically bring them back to the Grim Reaper. That's one piece of lore. Some other lore would consist of a Wraith is literally just a spiritual leech.
Yep.
And it kind of floats throughout the plane of existence, finding people who are weak. Say you lost a son or a daughter and you're weak emotionally, they would find you, suck what little happiness you have left out until you're basically a shell, and until you wind up killing yourself or someone else. The stories are pretty horrific.
Yeah, they're pretty grim.
Almost all the stories end with somebody, when you encounter this Wraith, you die. I mean, other lore states that Wraiths are simply apparitions of their impending death.
So yeah, so basically what that means is that seeing a Wraith is almost like an omen
to your own death.
Yeah, to your own death. So if you see a Wraith, according to this, you'll die.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much
inescapable.
That's all there is. So
it's bad news.
Yeah, so in all, that's what a Wraith is. It's entity, negative, goes after usually people who are weak on emotions. If you see a Wraith, it ends with some sort of death. It's
very bad. I mean, it's in the ghost family, but it's certainly not the same as ghosts. Ghosts, I mean, are a whole nother subject entirely. These guys usually mean bad news, and something terrible is going to happen, most likely to you. So after you kind of know what race are
And
hearing the lore behind what they are,
yeah,
you're probably going to wonder, well, how do I know if I'm dealing with a wraith?
versus like a ghost.
A ghost, right.
Or a demon.
Yeah, fuck.
Shit out.
Or a ghost or a wraith. I mean, they're the same thing, right? But the wraith is the super dangerous one. Well, there's a few pretty similar descriptions of what a wraith looks like throughout the lore. The main one being it's a black hovering creature with black hood, kind of wavering cloth-like body.
Usually faceless.
Usually faceless.
But there is a head.
Yeah, there is a head. Yeah.
So
under the hood.
Yep. So like you just said, they've been described to have black sorts of clothes. I've also read descriptions of wraiths being more of a shadowy type of apparition, so not always necessarily taking the form of a humanoid, depending on the type of lore you're reading.
Yeah, and there's also been lore stating that wraiths don't have anything at all. They're invisible. It's just a feeling. Usually that feeling is that of very panicky dread, increased depression, the impending doom feeling, basically just all-encompassing negative. And that's the feeling you get when a wraith is near, and it's like you can sense it, not so much see it.
Yeah, so that's one way to identify a wraith. Also,
It's how you feel.
it's how you feel. So it's not always in here. It's in here.
So really, the wraith is going to be, how you feel, and if you see it. Some even say that you'll be able to see skeleton figures if you see underneath the cloth. Dark, soulless eyes, as they say. Really just imagine something terrifying, and that's probably it.
Yeah, so if there's one thing we can definitely take away from all the different types of lore, all the different types of wraiths, the easiest way to probably identify one is how you're feeling when you see said apparition. Because it seems like the feeling of negativity is the most common thing between us. It kind of ties it all together. If it's a big black apparition and you feel like you're gonna die,
Very dark entity.
very dark, most likely it's a wraith.
Yes. Now, let's say everything we're describing is what you're dealing with currently. And you're in your house, you saw it, you felt that fear and all-encompassing depression, and you found our video to try to figure out how to defend yourself. Well, we have maybe good news, maybe not so good news. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, if you're dealing with the wraith currently, you're in a world of trouble. So, some of the lore behind defending yourself from a wraith, it could be as simple as cutting its head off with a blade, to as complicated as it cannot be killed. And then some lore says you could actually run from the wraith until midnight, and then at midnight, they simply move on to their next victim.
The best way to defend yourself against a wraith, from what we've gathered, hands down, would be to try to remain positive, increase the amount of positivity you're putting out into the energy around you, and basically don't let any negative entities in or around you.
So hopefully you won't have to deal with this, but you're a little bit more informed now. You're more than welcome to go on the internet and try to discover some lore for yourself. There's many stories out there, and maybe you'll discover something we have not. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit scattered, but we did our best. We have many more videos to come, and I hope you subscribe to follow us on YouTube to see what we post. We will try to post once a week at least. For next week, what we have lined up, us being down in the southwest region, we thought it'd be appropriate to investigate La Llorona. And if you do not know who that is, it translates to the Screaming Woman, which sounds equally terrifying. So, hit that subscribe button, like us, comment if you have any suggestions
Feel free
information to input. If you've dealt with anything personally, please comment it. We'd love to hear it and read it, and possibly we'll share it in a video. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you subscribe, and we'll see you next time. And always remember, if you look hard enough, it will find you.